used to having a menu of options when it comes to the food that we eat. How about having a menu of options when it comes to the touch that we give and the touch that we receive? I'm Darshana Avila, and I am your guide to all things erotic wholeness. Happy to be here with you, sharing some pearls of wisdom so that you get more pleasure, deeper intimacy, and all the goodness that you can out of life. Be sure to subscribe here if you want to learn more. So back to this menu of touch idea. This is something that I love exploring with my students and my clients, because every single time people are like, oh my goodness, I never thought about this. And yet it really isn't rocket science. Not all touch is created equal, and not all of us like to be touched in the same ways. So when you can identify some basic options, your menu items of different kinds of touch that you enjoy, that your partners enjoy, and then you know how to adjust some variables and create some combinations that let you really customize the experience. It's kind of like a create your own delicious Buddha bowl or something like that. Like, this is where we become more skillful, we get to be more attuned and really show up in physical intimacy in ways that can take us to much deeper depths, much higher heights. And more than anything, what we want there is, especially when we're sharing with another, a sense of really feeling a profound connection, like we're listening well to each other. So let me give you a little preview of some of the things that are on my menu. And I'm going to just go ahead and demonstrate on myself. One touch that is so important is stillness. Resting a hand on somebody's chest, on their face, over their genitals, their heart, whatever it might be, that can be such a powerful transmission. Like, hey, I'm here with you, present, right? Just being in stillness. Then we've got touch that moves lightly over the surface of our skin. That can be done with fingernails. It can be done with the pads of our fingers. You can stroke with the palm of your hand. So these light, fluid movements create a particular sensation that some of us delight in. Not everybody. And again, it's about figuring out what works for you, what works for whomever you're touching. There's those light touches, but then we've got heavier touches. We've got firm squeezes. We can massage, really work into the tissues. We can pat, we can pound. A little slap can feel nice in the right place, right? Again, not all of these touches are created equal, and many of us have preferences for a variety. Go ahead and think about that. Do you always like having the same monotonous touch over and over again? Or does it feel best to you when there's a variety that can help match your energy and move your energy in the way you want to go? So there are the different ways that touch can happen. And then there are some variables to consider. First of all, where? The location of the touch. It's a very different experience to touch somebody's scalp and hair as to touch their arms, as to touch their chest, as to touch their legs, and so on and so forth. So where do we want this touch to happen? That's number one. What kind of touch? And then there are some variables that you can adjust. I kind of think of them as little dials that you're tuning to just that precise frequency that meets them in the moment, or that meets you in the moment. And that has to do with speed. So the pace that the touch is moving at, is it just right? Do you want to speed it up, slow it down? Pressure. How much pressure? A firmer touch, a lighter touch, that's going to create a different experience. Even things like the direction that the touch moves in. So it's one thing to move in the upward direction, the downward direction, to go in zigzags. And that can make a really big difference. In particular, for those of us with vulvas, I know that I have a very clear preference of the direction I want touch to move in many times. And this isn't something that we're always thinking about. So by taking this baseline of information and starting to get creative and curious with it, you open up a whole Pandora's box of pleasure potential. And that is what we are very much here to do. If this is interesting to you, then I really encourage you to check out one of my self-guided journeys, Turned On, which is designed for couples. Whether or not you are currently coupled, this and many other practices are included to help you go deeper into understanding ways that you can create really satisfying intimacy with each other. And if you really want a deep dive, it might be private sessions with me. So be sure to reach out, and whatever you do, subscribe here so that you don't miss out on these future musings. I'm wishing you so much goodness on your journey to erotic wholeness, and I'll see you here soon.